There's so much that goes into getting tricks on camera. Rarely does one ever get their trick first try. So sometimes the trick comes with a battle. Sometimes it takes multiple days to land. Frustration, timing, injuries, and so many unexpected and unforeseen problems can have the biggest impact in walking away with the make, or even just being able to walk away at all. More often than not, the things that happen off camera help to make the clips and photos captured that much more of a mission and a memory than what you see as the end result. These are the bigger picture, the story of the Switch Nose Manual 540 Shove-it Out. So this was always a trick that was a bucket list trick for myself. I had done a couple of them regular before, and I'd always wanted to go to a street spot and land it for my next video part. And I remember earlier in the week when this happened, I had gone to Riverbank Skate Park and tried a couple on the small box right next to the bowl, and I stomped one, and that's what kind of set off me being able to have the confidence to take it to a street spot. And I was kind of struggling with where I wanted to land it, and so I called up a couple friends, and the only person that was able to come through for this trick on this day was Tyler. Everybody else was either at work or they were already out skating elsewhere. And so we were talking, and I had already done the regular version at the Walmart manual pad, as you see in the footage, and so I figured might as well just do it at the same spot, because I had a couple different trick ideas I really wanted to do there. And eventually I just decided I wanted to do all the nose manual 5 shove out variations at the same spot. And so as we were getting started, my biggest struggle was just being able to control the nose manual and get my footing set up enough to make it to the end for me to be able to do the 540 shove it out, because I'd done a couple of 540 shove-its on flat, just regular, and so the scoop was never the issue. It was more so just being able to get the balance held all the way across the Manipex. It's probably about a good, I'd say about 40 feet long, and the drop is not an issue. It was just being able to hold my center of gravity in the middle of the board long enough just to make it to the end to even try the 540 shove it out, because of most of the attempts I got off, they were relatively spinning just enough for me to be able to catch it, hopefully in the air. Like that right there, probably one of my closest ones I got before I actually landed it. But my issue was not the spin, it was just being able to have my weight shifted in just the right spot for me to be able to catch it and to land it. And so Tyler, as you see, he's in my car, and so I just have a tripod, so that way he doesn't have to move the camera up and down. He just has to swivel it left to right, and it was able to capture it perfectly. And love this box. It's not a bust, and I just was, every single attempt, I was not sure if I was actually going to make it all the way across, and so many times I let that get in my head, and it was just defeating me right towards the end of the manual pad. So many times I would get right towards the end and it would just drop off. And a couple times I would get to the end and it would shove perfectly, and I'd either land just a little off. There's one attempt coming up where I think I shoot it out and then I go chasing it. But I tried this trick at countless spots all over Modesto, from U-Stack to Davis to there was a DIY spot kind of by the old Bangs glass gap, and nowhere else besides this manual pad was I actually getting anywhere close. And I believe this was the third visit, and this was probably my third board that I was trying this trick on, because I had actually broke the other two trying this trick, just from the impact and just from stomping too hard, because I would get nervous as I was trying to catch it and it wouldn't stay with me, and so I just unfortunately stomped too hard. But yeah, as you can see from the video, it's just, the issue is not necessarily the spin, it's the weight. If I can't keep my weight centered, I can't get to the end, therefore I can't spin, and I drop off, especially so many attempts, I drop off either right in the middle or right towards the end where I've already held my weight long enough, and just as I'm about to spin it, it either drops completely down, or when I go to spin it, I'm not even on top of the board to where I can even catch it. And that was probably the biggest downfall for this whole thing, but thankfully, I know I didn't have to go to work, so I was just committed the entire day to just doing this trick. And eventually, I finally got my foot placement right to where it was able to give me more stability when I would go all the way across the ledge. And yeah, like right there, just the spin was a little off just when my weight was not directly over the board where I needed it to. And it was not necessarily over the back truck, it was getting it in front of the back truck, so that way I would, as soon as I go to spin it, I would be able to lean back a little bit and stay above the board. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, this trick has been a bucket list trick for me, and it's kind of one of the white whales. I'd always wanted to land it. I landed, again, I stomped one at Rubin Skate Park, and that to me is not enough. I wanted to get one in the streets at a real spot, just to be able to cross that one off the list. And so, I mean, doing it regular, I felt confident going into a switch, and I mean, practicing switch nose manuals, I can switch nose manual better than I can switch manual, so there you go. There's one right there, just kind of got away from me a little bit. I believe the make is coming up, and it was right towards the end when I didn't think I was actually going to pull it. The attempts were not looking close at all. I was dropping them every single time, and then finally just one out of the blue, I was able to finally just get it to where I held it just long enough, my feet were just in the right spot, and boom, landed it. And to this day, it's probably one of the greatest switch tricks I've ever done, and probably still one of my favorite nose manual tricks that I've ever done.